Hey y'all there, virtual rafters! Thanks for clicking in. Welcome to a small guide on a small boat this time. This time it's the Tiny Tug Steamer, and it's a lot easier to knock this one out with the building hammer. It's more of a starter raft size, but it does require equipment from story mode progression for completion. This might be for if you're really into minimalism. To get started, I hammered down a bunch of floating foundations. A pattern of 5 wide by 10 to 12 long will give an adequate space to holding the rafting essentials. To form the front, add 2 extra rows with triangle foundations on each end, leaving 1 foundation in the center. You can follow this pattern if you want to copy it directly. It could also be scaled up or adjusted for length if you think you might need more to accommodate your project. We'll need 2 engines, one placed on either side, spaced about 5 foundations back from the very front of the boat, approximately in this position. Now, going around these engines, switch up the building hammer over to the roofing menu and find the simple diagonal roof piece. We can use this to line the entire raft all the way around to 2 engines. This building asset shape shifts itself over the triangle foundation parts, and multiple can be stacked together to form the front bow of the steamer. On either side of the engines, add some of the inverted triangle short walls to start creating the appearance of wheel wells. Stack on a set of short walls on top of that to support the wheel covers, and then 2 more diagonal roof pieces with the foundation sandwiched between. It'll shape a structure that goes over the top of the paddles. The short pillars can be added all along the bottom floor of the raft, or you could go with the window option walls instead. If you can't decide yet, just go ahead and start filling out all the foundations to create a second floor deck, following a similar pattern over the top of the first floor. On the final row of the steamer, at the back here, I went with tapering in 2 triangle foundations, leaving 3 wide foundation platforms for an anchor off the back. It's a good time to connect up the engines to a fuel tank too. Route in all those pipes along with a purifier and all the other pipes that you'll need for automatic watering of crops on the below deck. And find a place for the set of stairs to the 2nd floor. I would recommend installing some near the engine to leave plenty of space for animals and storage in the center. With a little bit of a landing here, you could ultimately do whatever you want with building on top of this deck, but I'm going to keep this small and go with a single floor housing and steerage, which will ensure this design can run smoothly and quickly on just 2 engines. We'll be well within the foundation limits here. The build of the upper cabin is basically a rocket ship shape. Starting along the paddle wheel wells, space 1 foundation apart and hammer in 3 of the windowed walls on both sides. Then add on a set of doors for easy access next to those. And then you'll want to switch back to the windowed walls, add 2 more that are lined up with the doors. Then shift that wall over to create a diagonal window to trim up the front. To finish up on the rear of the cabin, switch to the solid wall option and add a set of adjoining walls or windows over the paddles. Shift the walls diagonally to make the building wider. From here you can use a combination of walls, windows, doors, whatever you want to create the rear opening for the cabin. This leaves a small deck over the back area for the large tree planters. The final pattern will look like this, but you could go with anything that will fit on top of this deck. The foundation counter lets us know that this is only at 75, meaning that we could run this on eco mode with only 1 engine. But let's go ahead and top this off with a roof, or you could just keep building floors until your heart's content. Don't forget to add railings. Railings everywhere, and you're good to go. For some extra convenience, I added a deck up on top, accessible from a ladder that's on the inside of the galley. Then trimmed the entire upper deck with some extra coverings. Just some additional style choices, but I'd like to see what other people could think up. Especially for the interiors, I'll just do a little decorating here and try to see if I can fit everything needed on board while fitting in as many crops as possible too. At very least, I'll puzzle in some housing for animals, and all that processing equipment for metals and trash, as well as the kitchen appliances for making all the crops into food. We'll also need the engine controls, along with the anchor for convenience. There's probably enough space to squeeze in the receiver navigation table with antennas. In theory, this could be a functional raft for Chapter 3 exploration. It probably wouldn't be too difficult to taxi around Temperance's ice patches with something this small. Paint is of course optional. I'll just put on a few coats for fun to give the interior design a little bit more color. And I'll do some touring of the finished steamboat on the outro. Thanks for stopping by a random raft build video. If you're looking for more of those, I'll link them in the playlist. If you have any build ideas that I can perhaps try to pull off for your amusement, then put them down in the comments below. And I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. Take care, and bye-bye!